Well, hello everybody and welcome back. Great to be with you, but we're still living through these incredible days. What will the future hold? That's the question the whole world is asking now. And one thing's for sure, we could certainly do with a bit of hope. And so could two of the friends of Jesus as they were making their sad way home from Jerusalem after that tragic weekend. The weekend when they'd actually witnessed the death of their beloved teacher on a cross. And in fact, as he died, they must have felt that all their hopes had died with him. And so as they were making their way back home to Emmaus, and they were so deep in conversation about these things that they scarcely noticed when a stranger came up and joined them. And he asked them what they were talking about. And they were so stunned that they stopped still in the road, and one of them, Clopas, said to him, "Are you the only visitor to Jerusalem who doesn't know what's been happening there?" And he said, "What things?" And they said the things about Jesus of Nazareth, of course. He was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people. My, you should have heard the things he said, seen the things he did. And how our chief priests and the rulers, they delivered him up and they condemned him to death and they crucified him. And we'd been hoping that he was God's promised one, the one that we Jews have been waiting for centuries. And what's more, it's now the third day since all this happened. And some of the women of our company amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning and they came back saying that they couldn't find his body, but they'd seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. And some of the men of our companions, they went to the tomb and they found it just as the women had said, but they didn't see him. Well, up to then, it was they who'd been doing most of the talking. But now, it was the stranger's turn. Do you know what he called them? Fools. He said, "You're so foolish." So Jesus couldn't have been the Messiah because of all these things that happened to him, eh? Are those the reasons why you can't believe? Well, let me tell you, he said, those are the very reasons why you should. Don't you realise that everything you've just been telling me has been clearly predicted in the scriptures? Wasn't it necessary that the Messiah should suffer these very things and enter into his glory? And he started right back there in the books of Moses. He worked his way up through the Psalms and the prophets, all the classic quotations, had them right at his fingertips. It was marvellous. They just gaped at him. I mean, in a way, it was old stuff to them. They'd heard it a dozen times. As Jews, they'd had it pumped into them from the day they started school, the story of the Messiah, but not the way this man put it over. All those difficult bits that the priests spend half their life discussing, he just fitted them together like one of those jigsaw puzzles. He made the whole thing suddenly clear and sort of inevitable, especially the resurrection. The resurrection. Yes, he showed them. It's the final miraculous piece. The final miraculous piece that makes sense of all the rest. The Messiah comes. Nobody recognises him. Nobody wants him. He's not the least bit like what anyone's expecting, so we get rid of him. Instead of crowning him king, we crucify him. But Messiah is the conqueror of death, and on the third day he comes back to establish his kingdom. Well, by now they are just about reaching the house in Emmaus, and disaster. He looked as if he was going on further. Well, they'd just got to hear the rest of the story. His words were burning in their hearts like a fire. They said, stay with us, have a meal. It's getting late." So he went in to stay with them. And as he was at the table, something rather curious happened. He sort of took the role of the host. And he took the bread, and he blessed it, and he broke it, and he gave it to them. And in that instant, they got it. Their eyes were opened, and they recognized him at last. He was no stranger. It was Jesus. Jesus, the Messiah. And at that moment, he disappeared from their sight. And they said, didn't our hearts burn within us as he talked with us on the road and as he explained the scriptures to us? And they got up at once and they raced back that whole way back to Jerusalem to tell the others of their marvellous experience of how they had seen Jesus alive. Well, is this story true? It has all the marks of an authentic eyewitness testimony. Or is it just a heartless hoax? Well, if it's true, it's of supreme importance, not just for them, but for us, for me. And if it isn't, it's of absolutely no importance at all. The one thing it cannot be is of moderate importance. So join me again next time as we investigate this great drama even deeper. I look forward to seeing you then. God bless you all.